Hi, in this session we're going to look at using the impulse response utility that you can find within Logic. Now there are two ways to get to it. The first way is from within a Logic session. So I'm just going to pull in a session here, and you can see that in this session I've got two auxiliary tracks set up with Space Designer inserted over each one. So if I click on one of these Space Designer units, it gives me this, and at the moment the presets that I've got in here is Diffusion Hall, but if I click on this window here I can open the impulse response utility, and it's just opened in the other window, so I've pulled it across and this is what it looks like. And at the moment it's configured for a mono input, but when I actually do my sweeps, which I'm going to do around the house in the next couple of days, I need a stereo input because I've got two 414 microphones that I've brought from the vocal booth to do this, and one speaker. Once I've done that, you can see there's a little bit of audio coming in because I've got a 58 plugged into my interface, so the spillage from that is finding its way into the utility. But when I do this, I'd be running a pair of matched 414s as a coincident pair or a spaced pair. I could run them as omni or cardioid or hypercardioid, and I might get slightly different reverb responses. So I might do a few sweeps with different microphone settings, and then you can have a play around and listen to the results. Okay, I'm just going to show you how to open the impulse response utility and set up a new project. So I'll just double click on that. Oh, it's gone to the wrong screen. Let's drag it into there. Okay, now all I need to do is go to File, New, Configuration. I need it to be stereo, so one speaker position, two mic positions. I now have an empty track. I need to make sure that my audio input is set to Sapphire. That's the interface I'm using, and the audio output is set to Sapphire. And I'm ready. I now arm the two tracks. I need to make sure that track or channel 1 is set to input 1 and channel 2 is set to input 2. Once I've done that, I can click sweep and off we go. Theoretically then, if I go into here, I should be able to find that new file. There it is, IR test. So it comes up in a menu. But you might want to know, well, where are all of these SDIR files kept? So I thought we'll just go and find those. Again, it's not, I don't think, the most logical place, but you need to go into your own user file. So in this case, Mike Moran. See if I can remember where this stuff is. And in here, there is a folder called Music. And in there's a folder called Audio Music Apps, and in there is a folder called Impulse Responses. Oops, hang on, have I just gone past it? Audio Music Apps. There it is, Impulse Responses. And here is my brand new IR test that I've just made. Okay, so that's basically how to use the impulse response utility. What I will do is I will film myself creating these impulse responses when I do a sine sweep in the kitchen of my house. I'll do one for the bedroom in the loft, and maybe I'll do one in the bathroom in the loft as well, because that's quite reverberant. So I'll create 3 different impulse response files for you to play around with. The final thing is I just also want to show you, because this impulse response utility can be opened independently of Logic, but it's not obvious necessarily where it is, so I'll show you. I'm now on Catalina, the most up-to-date OS for Mac, It might be slightly different for an earlier version, but in applications, if I go to Logic, I do a right mouse click or control click, show package contents, and this enables us to look inside Logic, and there is a folder in here called helper. Sorry, just let me go back. There it is, helpers, and in helper there is the utility. So if I want to open the impulse response utility as a standalone, I can find it in Applications, Logic Pro, within its package contents, the folder called helpers, and there is the app. So I've created an alias which is on my desktop, but if I double click on it, then the app opens up. Okay, so the next video I'm going to create is where I actually put this into practice. I'm going to borrow my daughter's laptop, use my interface, connect two 414 microphones. I'm going to run sine sweeps in our kitchen, our loft, and the bathroom in our loft. That should be fun. Okay, bye bye. Okay, so here we have a Mac laptop with the impulse response utility open, and it's set with two mic inputs. You need to make sure that each channel is set to the correct input. It's receiving the signals from a pair of 414s, both at the moment set as cardioid, coming into this Sapphire interface. Oops, excuse me. And then the output of the Sapphire is going to this power amp, which is running this loudspeaker. So the sine sweep is going to come out the speaker. The mics are going to pick up that, and I'm just waiting for the house to go quiet. So there's a loo refilling upstairs, and it's been raining. The only other noise in the room is the fridge. If I'm lucky, I might be able to get this done when this is quiet. Anyway, here we go. So just to be clear, we need to make sure that the audio input selects the Sapphire interface, and the audio output also must select the Sapphire interface, so that the sine sweep will go from the Sapphire to the power amp to the speaker. Okay. So there's a test tone that you can use. You can select 1K, 100 Hz, 5 or 10K to just make sure that your system is working. I've already done that. Just turn that on for a sec. So that's ready to go. So I now need to put these two channels in record, and now I just need to hit the sweep button. And that's the first sweep done. Now I need to save it. So the sweep I've just done is XY coincident pair set to Omni, and once I've done the sweep, I then need to click on the deconvolve button. Not sure it's focusing very well, this camera. What we now need to do though is crop this, because there is a bit of a gap between the sweep actually picking up, so we can simply do that within the graph, line it up against the beginning of the event, and then click crop. And once we've done that, we can also audition the sound of that reverb by clicking on that, and you've got 4 sounds here. So you've got a wood block, so you can hear how that reverb behaves. And if you're happy with that, then you simply create setting, name it, and it will put it wherever you've created your directory. So here's the bathroom. There's the speaker. Plaster walls, plaster ceiling, tiles. Some things in here that are probably going to rattle, which might make the reverb response a bit unclean, but we'll see. Here we go.